Afternoon, folks. Son of Liberty, Bill Lyons here. So it looks like a couple of news media outlets are declaring the election to go to Joe Biden. Looks like Nevada is staying Biden. Pennsylvania is going Biden. That puts him at, as the estimate goes right now, 290 electoral votes. And what that is that is a bridge too far for the Trump campaign. You know, there's no way to overcome that at all. There's no path to the presidency. So, first of all, I'd say congratulations to Joe Biden for becoming the next president-elect, and I would say congratulations to you Democrats who supported him. So there's, to my Republicans, the Trump supporters, you know, I'd say a couple of things. First of all, there's a couple of reasons why this happened. All right, number one, there's a number of people in the country who actually, honest to God, think that Joe Biden would be a better president than Donald Trump. And obviously, since he got the votes and he is going to be the next president-elect. You know, secondly, you have to look at the media, at the news outlets, at social media. You know, they, ever since 2016, when Trump came out as a strong horse in the race, they have been relentless on the man, and with negative coverage, with censorship as far as social media goes, Twitter, Facebook, etc. You know, they've been relentless with that, and that has an effect on people. That is very influential. All that negative press, all those negative stories, Democrat politicians, even some Republican politicians came out against the man on many occasions, as if you're talking about Democrats, on most occasions. And that has a very big effect in swaying people's opinion. So don't ever discount how influential the media can be in matters like this, and how influential social media can be. The search engines that you use, Google, Twitter, Facebook, you know, those things they have a lot of sway these days. The more that we go to electronics, the more sway they have. And even Fox News, you know, they have a lot of sway on people's opinions. So, and then, you know, the third reason I would think is voter fraud. You know, I personally believe that there was a lot of voter fraud that was going on, but if there's no proof of it, if you can't find the proof, then it didn't happen. Something they always taught me very early on as a nurse is that if you didn't chart it, you didn't do it. So this, and you can apply the same logic to voter fraud. If you can't find it, it didn't happen. So we have to be accepting of that. We have to understand that that's a possibility. We can't find the proof, so there's no use in crying over spilled milk, because if you ain't got the proof, it didn't happen. So Joe Biden will go on to be the next president of the United States. And, you know, I personally, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to say by July of next year, he will have resigned or been removed from office, and Kamala Harris will be president of the United States, which is, I think, was the goal all along for the Democrat Party. They used Joe Biden. He has a very well-known name. He's been in politics since I was 2. So he has a very well-known name. There's name recognition, and when you combine that with how much so many people just loathe Donald Trump, you know, they will go and flock to a Joe Biden where they would not have flocked to a Kamala Harris. Even though she's a known figure in the nation, she's not as popular as Biden. She's not as well known as him. She doesn't carry as much weight as he does. But her political philosophy is pretty far left from my understanding. It's very, very far left. And that's what their goal is. That's what the mainstream Democrats of today are looking for, somebody that's very far left. So I think by the end, if not by June, July, definitely by the end of 2021, you'll see a President Kamala Harris. And, you know, better or for worse. I personally think it'll be a disaster, but that's me. Now, who is to blame? Who is to blame? Let's just discount fraud. Let's find out, talk a little bit about who's to blame for this. Democrats, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for this disaster. I blame Republicans. I blame you all. I blame the politicians, the Republican politicians that didn't, if they couldn't stand by Trump, then at least keep their mouths shut, not criticize the man, because he got enough criticism. And I know some of you say, well deserved, but you know, this is the result of all that criticism. And to have Republican senators, Republican congressmen, Republican governors just pile on with the news media, with the social media companies, with the Democrats to criticize a president of your own party to that degree, you know, this is your fault. For those of you Republican voters who voted third party, flipped over and voted for Biden, you know, this is your fault. If you are conservative, if you have traditional American values, you know, if you love the stars and stripes, you love the Constitution, you love baseball and apple pie, you know, you may have hated the man, Donald Trump, but look at what he did. You know, he did things, even though I never considered Donald Trump a, you know, conservative, he was very conservative in what he did, very pro-American, very patriotic. He canceled trade deals that were not beneficial to the United States, or actually more beneficial to the other country and less beneficial to the U.S. He canceled the Paris, pulled us out of the Paris Climate Accords and the whatever the Pacific equivalent was. I forget what it was called, but he pulled us out of that as well. He worked on a wall, said he was going to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico, a border fence, and he did that. He did as much as he could, and he got shit from Democrats, Republicans, news media, social media. You know, I mean, he got shit from everyone for doing what he said he was going to do. Gave us a tax cut. He tried to repeal Obamacare. You know, he brought some jobs back to the U.S. We had a very, very roaring economy. You know, and even now, you know, the evidence is still present. You know, as I said in an earlier video, they're building everywhere in Ohio. Ohio has so many buildings under construction, so much business, so much industry, you know, and people are driving around new cars. You know, it doesn't happen with a shitty economy, folks. It doesn't happen with a shitty economy. So, you know, he said what he was going to do, and he gave it 4 years trying to do it. We have 3 Supreme Court justices that were appointed by Donald Trump that will keep the court conservative for quite some time, for a very long time. So, you know, even though he himself, I don't believe, was a conservative, he acted very, very much like a conservative when he was in office, and he did what he could to keep the promises that he made during the campaign. You know, I'm going to do this, and then he tried to do it. You know, as far as Trump's religious belief, you know, I don't know for sure that he is a Christian, but what he did was he wholeheartedly supported Judeo-Christian values. He supported the Jewish people in Israel and America. He supported Christians. He never failed to say, God bless America, put his hand over his heart, you know, salute the Marines that he was, carrying him around there on Air Force One and Marine One. You know, he never failed to show that patriotism, that respect for the country. Now, did he have respect for his opponents? Absolutely not. Didn't care. You know, think about where the man came from. You know, New York City. everybody in the country, whether you're Republican, Democrat, whatever, you understand that New Yorkers have a certain rudeness about them. And, I don't know, a lot of people say he's not a likable man, but, I don't judge the man by his personality, by his New York style bravado. I judged him by what he said he was going to do and what he actually tried to accomplish. So, I would say, I guess back to the original point there, that this is the fault of you Republicans, of rhinos, the Republicans in name only, that sit in political office in our country. And this is the fault of you Republicans who, although you claim day after day after day to have more conservative values, you turn on Donald Trump because you find him an objectionable man. But you understand that he did have a conservative agenda, and he did do conservative things, exactly as he told you he would do. So, the next 4 years, whatever happens, you Republicans can go ahead and own it. You Republicans in name only, you Republicans who claim you're conservative and yet do nothing but loathe the man, you own it. This is on you. Now, to the Trump supporters, the people like me who have supported Donald Trump for 4 years and who continue to support the man, continue to support the United States of America and traditional values, Judeo-Christian values, a strong constitution. To you all, I will say, don't act like the Democrats. Don't act like the leftists. Don't get out there and scream and whine and act like babies over this. Be better people than your opponents are. Get up here, give them a congratulations, speak softly, carry a big stick, and show more class than those people did. Show more class than they did. How many videos have we seen over the last few years of people screeching about how much they hate Donald Trump, disrespecting him? How many times did his star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame get defaced? Show more class than those people did. When you criticize, when you are critical of a policy of a President Joe Biden, a President Kamala Harris, a Democrat Party in general, show more class than Democrats did. Show more class than your Republican rhinos did. Have more class than that. I will say, keep your powder dry and your head on a swivel, and be classy about it. God bless you. God bless America. And God help us all.